ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। We are in Kishkindha Kanda, chapter 18. Sri Ramachandra has shot an indomitable arrow on or at Vali that has pierced his chest. And Vali, who was a fantastically strong person, like a mountain, immediately fell to the ground like a tree, an Ashoka tree that was cut down. And the analogy of the Ashoka tree is twofold. One, and a fully blossoming Ashoka tree is full of red flowers. So his entire body was drenched in blood. And just when a tree is cut, although it stands with great majesty and might, when it is cut, it falls helplessly. And Vali fell to the ground like that. And his final few breaths were somehow still there. We read the verse where, although he was fallen on ground, his strength, his life airs, and his effulgence hadn't diminished, but he was incapacitated. And in this situation, he challenged Sri Ramachandra. Ramachandra then refuted all of his arguments as to why Vali is indeed guilty on not just one or two, but on many accounts. He's guilty. And Sri Ramachandra was both the justice and the jury. And so now, I'm seeing a text that volume is low. Can you all hear me clearly?
It seems clear to us.
Okay. So then Vali is now speaking after he has addressed Sri Ramachandra and accepted his guilt. He's continuing to speak, and that's where we are. So he says, Sri Ramachandra, now that I have fallen on the ground and lost my kingdom, lost everything, I'm ready to lose my life, I have a request. The request is that you please treat my son Angada the way you treat Sugriva. See them equally. Please be their master with equal sense of love for not just Sugriva, although you made friendship with Sugriva, and because Angada is my son, don't let that make you hold your affection towards Angada. Because ultimately, You are the maintainer and the protector. So this is a Sharanagati verse because it hints at the elements of or aspects of Sharanagati. The verse he says is Sugrive cha angade chaiva vidhatsva matimuttamam. Vidhatsva means you uh, take dominance over them, or you take care of them. And you express your affection equally. So if you have to show your love, show equally. If you have to chastise, chastise equally. Not that you chastise Angada but not Sugriva. So then it is not love that is from an equal platform. Tvam hi Shasta, you are the controller, Shasta, or the discipliner. Cha Gopta, you are the maintainer. Cha Karya Akarya Vidhau Sthitah. You are the one who's going to tell both of them what should be done, what should not be done. So this is a well-rounded expression of affection. And then he says, Ya te narapate. Oh, Ramachandra, the Narapati, the husband of all human beings. Vrittir bharate lakshmane chaya. In your mentality, vritti is your tendencies, the way you are towards Bharata and Lakshmana. In the same way, Sugrive Chanaga Angadecha Rajastvam Tvam Adhit Tvamadhatam Ihasi. Adhatum Ichasi. Please show the affection that you have for Bharata and Lakshmana, Sugriva and Angada, which means take them under your fold, treat them as one of your own. And then he says, I hope that Tara will not be punished because of my offense. Now, generally, anything that a head of the unit does, a head of the household does, or a unit does, the good and bad both are passed on to the dependents. Um, so when a leader does something atrocious, then the followers pay for it. When the leader does something fantastic, the followers are also rewarded by it. So he says, Mada Maddo Sakrita Doshan. Mada, because of what I have done, Asakrita Doshan, whatever offenses I have done, Tam Yatha Taram Tapaswini. But let it not pass on to Tara because she's a very, very austere Tapaswini. Sugrivo Nava Manyeta Tatha Tatha Avasthatum Arhasi. So it can be possible that because I am dead, Sugriva can become very angry at Tara and take some sort of revenge or avenge his defeat previously or being exiled. So please make sure that Tara is not punished for my offense. Um, and then he says that actually Sri Ramachandra, who becomes a ruler, who becomes a follower, who gets punished, who gets rewarded is all under your jurisdiction. That is why the Supreme Lord is called Vidhata. Dhata means one who sustains, nourishes, controls, and manages everything. So Vidhata, the Supreme. And the Upanishadic statement is what's that? Aniyor Aniyan Mahato Mahiyan. Although you are the Supreme, you are the one that nourishes and takes care of all living beings in the universe. You take care of everybody's needs. So it is, he says, it is possible the one who is under your control will only act according to your dictate or will carry out your will. And such a person ascends to higher realms of existence. And then he says, even though Tara stopped me when I came to fight with Sugriva, it is it is my desire. It was my intent to die in your hands. Now, what is not clear is whether it was a conscious decision to die in Ramachandra's hands, or we say that that is how the outcome is. We say in colloquial ways, well, it seems like I had to be punished by Ramachandra, by you. So it is not necessarily clear that it was intentional that Tara said, don't go, and he's thinking, oh, I want to die in Ramachandra's hands. I don't think it is intentional in that way, but it means that since I did not take Tara's advice, it was as if destined that I will die in your hands. That I wanted to die in your hands. Saying this, Vali just fell silent. Valmiki Rishi says that Vali is now able to see clearly. See clearly means that his perspective, not necessarily vision that he can see, but his perspective became clear. He could understand that Ramachandra was not uh, being unjust by hitting him an arrow. Sa tamashvasayarda Ramah Valinam Vyakta Darshanam Samasampannaya Vacha Dharmatva Dharma Tattva Arthayuktaya. So Ramachandra now consoled Vali. And what kind of words was Ramachandra using? Sama Sampanna. Sama means something that pacifies the mind. We hear the words Samaha, Damaha. Dama means where the senses are pacified, they're quietened. Samaha means where the mind is quietened. So Sama Sampannaya. Words that were so pleasing, quieting, and satisfying. And it's not just some pleasing words. The words are very weighty. Dharma Tattva Arthaya Yukta. They were so suitable. They were full of dharma and tattva. And by these, Ramachandra consoled Vali. And Ramachandra said something fantastic. I think this is the verse that I shared. Ramachandra said that by being punished, Vali, all of your sin has been cleared away as far as dharma is concerned. And now you have regained your spiritual nature. Here's the Sanskrit, if you like. What is I'm going to come to the meaning of it in a moment. Tad bhavan danda samyoga adam samyogat asamad vigatah kalmashah. Asmad vigatah kalmashah. Asmad means by us. The arrow that has hit you, the arrow sent by us that has hit you, us is, generally don't say aham, they say asmad. Like in Hindi, a refined way of speaking in Hindi where they speak first person, instead of saying me, they say hum. It's because Ramachandra is a prince. In this case, he's using the reference first person as asmad, we. Vigata kalmashaha, all of your sins, the impurities are gone away. Gataswam prakriti, you have now reached your own original nature. Dharmyam dharmadrishtena vartmana. And so on the path of dharma, you are now been established. So all of your previous accounts of bad behavior has been cleared. There's an English saying, every saint has a past. Every sinner has a future. which means, according to Ramachandra, once he has cleared someone's baggage, it is not something he will bring into discussion ever. It's not that when they become very purified, they will say, I know what you did in the past. Ramachandra does not consider something like that. He tells Vali, you are now fully purified, and you have now established in your original spiritual nature. So Vali is obviously very pleased to hear this. Now, the word has gotten to Tara that, oh, by the way, Ramachandra has shot an arrow and Vali has fallen on the ground. Tara, when she heard this, she is in severe anguish and she runs quickly out of Kishkindha, taking Angada along with her. She wants to go see Vali. And when she comes to that site where Vali is, the Valmiki Rishi describes that as Tara is heading in that direction, she's seeing all the monkeys who were with Vali running in distress, helter skelter, because they were scared of Ramachandra, because they have seen Vali defeat all sorts of demons very easily. But Vali fell from one arrow. So they were so scared. Even those Vanaras who were Angada's escorts ran away. And then she was surprised that, my gosh, these monkeys are running away because of their fear. Tara told them, hey, what kind of followers are you that when your leader is in distress, you're running away? What kind of it's a disgrace to be such a follower. Um, so then they felt, oh, what Tara is saying has some sense. But they told her, Tara, if you care for your own life, I think you should take Angada and go back to the palace, because where you're going is where Ramachandra is standing there with bow and arrows in his hand. And Vali fell as if a tree was struck by lightning immediately. It was not like slowly over time he became weak or anything. So this Vali was killed, although he's son of Indra. It was like Indra had sent a flash of lightning. So quickly take Angada back to the palace. You crown him as the king. In that way, you will keep yourself and everyone safe. Your staying here is not a good idea, because who knows, Sugriva will become even more intensified in his avenging his anger. Tara said, no, that is not right. I want to go see Vali. And so she comes to where Ramachandra and Lakshmana are standing. And she sees she sees Rama and Lakshmana, Sugriva, Hanuman standing. She crosses them and goes to where Vali is fallen on the ground. And the description is like a massive mountain peak fallen on the ground. A hero that has lost his life in battle, or a star that has lost all of its effulgence or shine. When she saw Ramachandra, Lakshmana, then went to Vali, she started piteously crying for Vali. Because Vali dying accidentally is one thing. But Vali, he's not dead yet, but she knows he's going to die. He's fallen unconscious, breathing his very final few breaths. And Tara knows that she gave good advice, and it was his own adamancy or pig-headedness by which he didn't take that good advice and look at the condition it has brought him into. The consequence of not taking good advice is that he was shot down by Ramachandra. So when a person is about to tread a wrong path, when someone gives advice that I don't think it's good for you, don't do this. If they don't heed to such advice, then the wheel of time or wheel of justice will crush, because the wheel of justice is very, I guess, exact, and is very detached or neutral. Everybody gets their uh, consequence of their deeds. So Tara is feeling very sad for Vali. She said, "Oh, you are such a big hero, powerful like anything. Just look at your condition. How such a great person has come about such consequences, all because of your doing." Now she never. Interesting thing is, in the entire Ramayana, three women who have been uh, pained by Ramachandra in one sense never blame Ramachandra. The three women are: first is Shurpanaka. Shurpanaka jumped to attack Sita Devi, but she was not killed. Her nose and ears were cut off. When she runs to Khara to complain, she never speaks bad about Ramachandra even once. She incites Khara to go fight with Ramachandra. But when he asks who has done this to you, from her mouth only glorification comes. Tarunau, Rupa Sampanno, Sukumaro, Mahabala. These are all great glorifications of Ramachandra. Now, Vali is dying and Tara is here, but she never holds Ramachandra responsible. In fact, she lays the blame squarely on Vali for whatever he has done. Later, when Ravana is killed, Mandodari also comes running to see Ravana's body that's fallen on the ground. And she never blames Ramachandra for it. So the idea is blaming the Supreme Personality of Godhead or blaming Dharma. That I am in this situation today because Dharma has done something to me doesn't make any sense. And all these three women, of course, Shurpanaka is not necessarily considered knowledgeable, but her words are of great knowledge because she had such intense attraction for the Supreme Lord. The only thing is, it was not Anukulyena, it was Pratikulyena, but attraction nevertheless. For Tara, she was very attracted to Vali, but she's very intelligent, and so is Mandodari. And so here Tara is glorifying Vali for all that he has done for Kishkinda, what he has done for all of his followers, the monkeys. But she says, you have now in this condition where death is at your doorstep. And the reason you are in this condition is because you snatched away Sugriva's wife and you kicked him out of Kishkindha. And that is the reason you have got this result. Sugrivasya tvaya bharya hrata. By you, Sugriva's wife was kidnapped. Sacha vivasitaha. Vivasitaha. You expelled him from staying here. Vasa means to stay. Vivasa means kicked out, not allowed to stay. Yet tat tasya tvaya vyushti. By such behavior of yours, prapta iyam plavangadhipaha. O king of monkeys, you are you are like this because of your own actions. I tried to tell you with the best of intention what is good for you, but you brushed me aside. You did not care for what I was saying. Uh, then it's a what she's speaking is um, a euphemistic way to say that you're about to die. Now, thing is, because these persons are all very cultured, they speak euphemistically. because it softens the harshness of uh, words, such as to say you're about to die, is considered harsh, although it is truth. So truth cannot be harsh only. So truth can be spoken in a way that it doesn't shatter someone's heart, but it awakens someone's intelligence. So here she's saying, of course, there's poetry in it. So she says, "Oh Vali, because you enjoyed with so many women here, the apsaras in the heavenly realm who are very, very proud of their beauty and youthfulness, and they're expert in romance, are waiting for you to stir your heart when you see them." Now, when will someone see the apsaras? Most of the time, when someone is dead and gone to heaven. Then she says, one may say that Ramachandra's way of killing you or hitting an arrow at you may be improper. But nobody will say it's a deplorable deed, because what he has done is to bring about justice. And she says, I am being left behind as a sorrowful widow. Actually, I don't have any interest in living. I want to give up this life with you. One may say that Angada is there as your representative, and I should be under Angada's care. But for me, or for any, she generalizes it, for any dutiful wife, the company of the husband far outweighs how many ever sons she has who can take care of her. So she says, now that you are on your way to another world, finally kiss Angada goodbye. Kiss him on his forehead, and say something that is beneficial for him. Uh, as far as Sugriva is concerned, he has got his wife, Ruma, back, and I have lost my husband. Then she's shaking his body and asking him, why are you not talking to me? Here I am speaking so much, but you won't even return a word. You won't say anything back. I mean, this is part of the grief, that in grief, a person becomes irrational. Have you seen when someone is dead or passed away, the family members will come and shake the body and say, please wake up, come back, I know you've not gone. I mean, the irrationality is very intense because the emotions are very high. Then, as Tara is crying, all the other females who were part of Vali's harem also severely and piteously were crying. With this, Tara's speech has ended. Now, Hanuman, who's standing there, he's always the person who has to resolve things. That's just his gift. So he looks at Tara and tells her, he gives her a little Bhagavad Gita class, which the phrases are something we are very familiar with. He says, Guna dosha kritam jantu swakarma phala hetukam. So whatever is good, guna, whatever is faulty, dosha, kritam jantu, whatever a man does or a person does that is good or faulty, swakarma phala hetukam, that brings fruit for their own actions. Avyagraha tad avapnoti sarvam pretya shubha shubham. So from this, a person gets auspicious or inauspicious fruits by the kind of activity they do. And now, where how Krishna spoke to Arjuna, that ashochan anvashochaspam pragyavadamscha bhashase gatasum agatasumscha nanu shochanti panditaha. Here the words, this is what Hanuman is speaking, is very, very similar. Shocha, shochasi kam, shocyam deenam deena anukampase, kah cha kasya anushocye asti dehe Aswin bubudhu, bubudhu upame. He says this human life, or this life actually, is just like a bubble. It floats for some time and suddenly it bursts. And so, something that is not worthy of lamenting, you are lamenting for it. And something that is uh, not worthy of pity, you are pitying. When you yourself, by doing so, are in a pitiable condition. By you lamenting for something that is not lamentable, you're in a lamentable, your situation is lamentable, meaning it is not worth it. It doesn't mean be insensitive. He's trying to bring her out of her very intentional emotional state. And then he says, look, Bali's chapter is gone. But what you have on your hands is Angada. The future is right here. Help Angada. You have a living son. You look after the young one, Angada. And think of all the things that he will have to accomplish in his life, and you live for his well-being. He's giving her hope because she's saying, I'm going to die. I'm going to give up my life with Vali. He's telling her there is hope. Don't feel like you are hopeless. You help him achieve whatever Vali wants him to achieve. And as far as coming and going in this life, the body is just what it is. It's matter, and it's the soul within this body that is relevant. And he says, please bring back all these monkeys who've lost their confidence, because it is your job now. So then Tara gathers herself and replies to Hanumanji. She says, there may be 100 Angadas on this side on a pan scale, but there is one Vali. My heart is with Vali. Because what a husband is for me as Tara cannot be, although their son is a representative of the father, the affection that I have for Vali cannot be compensated by even if I have 100 Angadas. This is a verse similar to what Sita Devi says to Ramachandra about Ramachandra, that having a, a love between husband and wife is sacred and very, very nourishing, that in that absence of one of them, other people cannot compensate for that love. So she says, how can I make Angada the king when Sugriva is standing right here? Ideally, he's the one who's going to be the king. But thinking that Angada will become the king uh, is not the right thing that will happen. So we need to take care of Angada properly. So then Vali, who was unconscious all this while, slowly opened his eyes. And the first one he saw standing in front of him was Sugriva. And Vali nodded at Sugriva, accepting that yes, you have become victorious and I have been defeated. I am the one who's done the wrong. There was no wrong on your part. And then he says, although we are brothers, I had broken the bond of brotherhood. And I have now gotten my punishment. I'm going away because time, like we say, Krishna says, kalosmi, which means that providence has dealt me cards by which my time is over. So I'm leaving away the kingdom, I'm leaving away all the prosperity, the glory, and the whole idea that Vali could never be killed. All of that is now gone away from me. Sugriva, please carefully hear what I'm about to tell you. Okay? Uh, take care of Angada. treat him like your own son. Don't become angry at him or punish him for wrong reasons or unnecessary reasons. And you now become Angada's father figure. Take care of him. As far as Tara is concerned, uh, she is also there to not only guide you, but she will become your consort. She will be there the way you would like her to act and behave, because she is the daughter of Sushena. So in all circumstances, always, uh, Tara is extremely intelligent, extremely intelligent. Actually, there is a story that we don't hear it directly in the Bhagavatam, but it is related that during the churning of the milk ocean, there were 14 entities that came from the churning. One of the entities was Tara. And Sushena became Tara's father. I mean, there's a whole story of how, but I'm not going to narrate that. So this Tara is very, very she's a very special personality because she's come from that churning of the milk ocean. So you never should doubt her advice. And she will give you good advice. It's not like she is going to have this dubious plan that you're responsible for Vali's death. I'm going to give you bad advice and make sure that you die. Hmm? So he says, whatever she says, don't act contrary to her opinions. You've seen what has happened to me by acting contrary to her opinion. And I bless you, I give you my best wishes that you will help Ramachandra accomplish his mission. Because you made friendship with him in the presence of fire. Because you've given him your word, never fail on that word. And then Vali removed that necklace that Indra had given him and gave it to uh, Sugriva and said, you wear it. Because if it is on my body, as a dead body, it's not good for you to touch it and then take it on yourself. So I'm giving it to you now, take it from me. And with this, with great brotherly love, Vali started crying. And quietly, he breathed his last. Oh, sorry. Then he spoke to Angada. And he said, Angada, Sugriva is now your father. Obey him. Okay? Don't plot on the side as Sugriva the king. You get a little of your little friends and circle and plot secretively to topple Sugriva from his throne. I don't think it's a good idea. You should take Sugriva as your king, and he will take care of you and crown you as the prince regent for Kishkindha kingdom. Uh, then all the monkeys, everyone who was there was crying, and Vali breathed his last. And it says, as Vali gave up his life, entire Kishkindha seemed to have lost its shine and charm. The gardens, the trees with all beautiful leaves and flowers and fruits, all became desolate. And the whole effulgence, the Hindi they call it chahal pahal, the whole activity, enthusiasm by the presence of Vali suddenly became quiet, desolate, and nobody was enthusiastic for anything. And that was the end of this chapter or the episode of Vali. And we end chapter 22 here. Let's see if there's any questions or comments. I tried to scan through the chapter so that I don't miss too much of detail. There are beautiful verses that say, and if I go verse by verse, we won't get through much anyway. So hopefully you'll accept this. Any questions, comments, thoughts, reflections? I am seeing text saying you couldn't hear me. I hope you can hear me. My volume is on full here.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So last class you said that Bali made a mistake of taking Roma and being in a relationship with her. And now you hear Bali saying to Sugriva that you marry Tara.
Yeah,
So I find that to be a little contradicting.
not little. It's quite contradicting. But there is one severe distinction that among the rules for Vanaras, Vali forcibly took Roma when Sugriva was alive. And that's not okay. But here, Sugriva will accept Tara after Vali's death. And that's the distinguishing feature. So that's allowed within the Vanara, I guess, rules and whatever, but not when the husband is alive. And it is happening in Ramachandra's presence. One of the things so it's that is dharma for the Vanaras. When Vali was shot because he took away Roma and Sugriva was still alive. But when Sugriva marries Tara, Ramachandra does not object because Vali is dead.
Yeah. Thank you. I have one comment also to make.
Sure.
So on the point that how Lord Ramchandra, when Sugriva committed an offense, and then Lord Ramchandra had to take a very strong stand in correcting that, so that Bali, because you said in this class that Lord Ramchandra says now you're freed of all your past sinful this thing, and you will go back to your constitutional position or consciousness.
Right.
So I was just thinking that sometimes, when a wrong is done, uh, it is hard to take a strong stand, even though, there may be this mundane compassion coming in saying that, oh, it may be too much of a harsh way of dealing with the situation. But I'm thinking that especially when Vaishnava Aparadh is done, and if the consequences are not properly executed, then that soul actually, I was thinking, is even though in the mundane sense or material sense the punishment may seem to be harsh, but that person will be rid of the reaction at the time of death, because he's already faced the consequences of his or her wrongdoing. But if the leader, like you said, because the leaders have to be leading the dependents, if the leaders don't take the right stand and give right consequences, carefully deliberating on it under guidance of Guru Shastra and sadhus, then actually we are doing disservice to such souls, because after many lifetimes a soul comes in contact with the process of bhakti, and because of the past sinful activities, whatever they're doing right now, if that's not corrected, then the possibility of the soul suffering further in many other lifetimes to come is very grave and highly likely. So I was thinking that it's not easy to make these decisions, but sometimes such hard-hearted, it seems like hard-hearted decisions need to be made, in fact, for the overall well-being of that soul.
Yeah, and those are not hard-hearted. It takes a strong heart to help someone so that they don't suffer in the future. So therefore, Kshatriyas would exact, in this case, aggressor like Vali got capital punishment. Uh, because with that, he doesn't have to suffer in the next life. Exactly. It's not easy, but it needs to be done. It's done by Kshatriyas. Anything else, Himangi? Should we move to someone else?
Yes, nothing else. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else? There is someone's hand up. Shanmugam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. All the speeches by, it's quite touching. All the speeches by Rara, Ramachandra, Vali, Hanuman, they are very nice. And only thing I was thinking, when he is killed by a Supreme Personality of Godhead, he would have reached Vaikuntha, spiritual planet. But since he was in the bodily concept, he was more interested in his bodily extensions, his wife and son and other things. And most probably when he loses his life, his sins would have been washed. At that time, of course, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yes, told that Ramchandra told your sins will be washed. Only Supreme Personality of Godhead can give that, sanction it, washing the sins. It has been very, really nice. And Rara has already told that he will go to upper planet only, his destination. And normally, when gets killed by Supreme Personality of Godhead, they would have gone to spiritual planet, and most probably he is destined to go to higher planets. But the entire narration is very nice and very touching. Thank you very much for your nice narration. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
You're welcome. Just a couple of things. Ramachandra considers himself a human being. So a human being generally cannot deliver someone to the spiritual world. So he's careful. He doesn't tell him, or he doesn't declare to us that Vali is, going back. But he says you have attained your original nature. So these are only hints, because Ramachandra, as soon as it gets proclaimed that he's the Supreme Personality, Ravana uh, has to become worryless. Right? So Ramachandra will not reveal that he is the Supreme Personality. That's one. Second, think of it this way. Vali, all this while, also was a great king, but mixed with his greatness is very selfishness, intense selfishness. His pride, his sense of what is right or wrong, although if it may not be the actual right or wrong, would trash this one, that one, kick Sugriva out and all that. But now, having been shot by Ramachandra, even at the point of death, he is not letting go of his service. His service is the king. And a good person will serve even to the very point of death. And so he's telling Angada, be careful. He was giving Angada good advice. Don't plot against Sugriva. Don't do this and don't do that. Take Sugriva as the king. But this is good service. By the touch of Ramachandra, he is not given away his service. In fact, he is doing his service properly now, even at the point of death. See that way. Not necessarily that it's bodily platform that he's thinking about his kingdom and all that. He is offering his service. Just the way Bhishma Dev, lying down on the bed of arrows, gives good advice to Yudhishthir Maharaj and placates Yudhishthir Maharaj's sadness and anxiety. So he's also offering good service. I mean, this advice could have come from Ramachandra, standing right there. But it comes from Vali, because that's his service to his son and as the king. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Anything? Any reflections from any of you on this whole episode of Vali? Something Tara said, Vali did, Sugriva did, Ramchandra did. Anything that churned through? Did it touch you in any way at all?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Very, very beautiful narration. It's one of my favorite exchanges, actually. the transformation that happened in Bali, he was so upset and angry and spoke such harsh words. And towards the end, he speaks. I mean, I'm quite taken by the way he spoke. He's telling his son, don't be and don't have enmity and don't even plot against him secretly and all of that. And speaking about his wife, yeah, it was, in a way, it was like you just pointed out to the previous question. By the touch of Lord Ramachandra, his heart was, that he was able to serve the Lord even in those very difficult moments. And this was, somehow it was very touching for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Me too. It's just one arrow. It was not by touch of some nice pat on the back, by an arrow. So we can imagine if Ramachandra's arrow was released and made such a transformation in Vali, then what kind of transformation we can hope for if there is a gentle pat by Ramachandra on our shoulder or head? Amazing. Although in shooting an arrow or patting on the head, both are very compassionate, regardless of the action of itself, because he's very compassionate.
You can also see like the arrow representing like how God answers the arrow
cutting the knot of Vali's in the heart, very short in the chest, exactly, where Vali's arrogance was all sitting there. Anything else? Anyone? Thank you for sharing, Varshana Mata. Okay, seems like nothing. Let the pastime or the episode sink in. We can consider how much of our nature is Vali-like, in the sense, not that we have taken someone else's wife away or usurped the kingdom or something, is the sense of I'm always right. I don't want to hear anyone else's view or perspective. And whatever I do is right because I think it is right. And I hold that at a greater, with a greater value than the value of the brothers or sisters or relationships that I have. Sometimes people weigh their opinion higher than the value of the relationship around them. And Ramayana teaches that as much as possible, try our best to place relationships higher than whether we are right or wrong. And it always rewards in some way back. May not now, but somewhere. You can never go wrong with it. And Ramachandra made friendship with Sugriva, who's been banished, who's been wronged, but still helped Vali. But helped Vali in a different way, helped relieve Vali of any such thing. So a very, very beautiful scripture, but very beautiful episode as well. So with that, we'll see you again next week. Next week it's possible. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.